so good on the champion. But let's see what they actually decide, if Alistar will be banned.
Well, TF and Mundo banned out here by ROCCAT. No change there. Kassadin taken away. We always have to factor that one in onto the red side. Funnily enough, didn't happen in the last game, and the Super Hot Crew were, you may argue, forced to first pick that Kassadin.
Yeah, I believe they were. I mean, clearly wasn't a plan. Because they had the Kassadin, waited like 40 seconds, talking back and forth. He ended up locking it in, and all of a sudden it just seemed like nothing worked here. And oh. New jungle ban.
And I totally agree with it as well.
Of course.
Swap the Lee Sin out, ban out the Elise. Definitely Jankos' most impactful jungler. Orianna taken away on the other side, of course, played by Overpower in that last game. So keeping the focus in there. The question now is, do you ban the Cow? Do you ban the likes of Yasuo? Maokai still open here. What are the Super Hot Crew gonna be going for? Zilean, of course, was the Super Hot Crew ban in game number 1, and it will be Zilean this time.
Okay, so Alistar open. Maokai open as well, which should be the first pick for ROCCAT here because Maokai is so strong at the moment. If people wonder where's Gragas, well, kinda got changed a little bit, lost some of his wave clear, less damage from his Q and minions, and his W got changed as well, so he's not as strong anymore, and therefore Maokai is like the #1 top laner at the moment. So easy first pick for ROCCAT here. No Alistar top lane, unless of course it's gonna be Maokai support or jungle. Don't expect it to be. And let's see what Subaku wants to respond with.
So that's the interesting thing as well. You take Elise, are they now forced to be picking up Lee Sin for Impaler with the fact that, I mean, if he was a high enough priority before, then surely a priority now. However, if you look down the 3 most played champions, or even the 4 most played champions coming out from Impaler, Lee Sin does not feature. Rengar, however, does. But we have to say it, Super Week. We weren't impressed with the Rengar that we saw out of Impaler.
So, ROCCAT actually said in Super Week, it was Jankos, who said that Impaler is the best jungle Rengar in Europe. Now again, the competition, probably not too fierce, seeing as most of our Rengar players, or most of our Rengar games, don't always end too well. But still, they respect his Rengar. It's been locked in now. It's what I expected to see from Super Hot Crew in game 1. Because now you already have some pick potential. You have some potential to split up ROCCAT, stop them from moving around as a group here, and try and catch them out of position and surprise them, which is what Rengar can do. If they're looking like a Twitch from Mr. Rallis, they have double stealth, double pick potential already, and then you have Morgana support with the binding. So this is more what I expected from Super Hot Crew against ROCCAT. And look at ROCCAT's side. Full teamfight focus once again.
Going to take Kog'Maw for Celaver once again, and also picking up Rise here for Overpower. Champion that's obviously going to take a while to get going, as it will the AD carry as well. One good thing, I suppose, when you see Rengar jump in towards you, instant Rune Prism, stopping from diving right on top of you. No skill shot needed there to rely on to stop that gank from happening. However, on the other side, Selfie. Ahri has been a champion, which we actually saw in that last video there, the 100-0 on Candy Panda. That game for him on Ahri was incredibly, incredibly good. Kayle also maybe one to consider. That was banned out in game number 1.
Yeah, and Kayle, AP ratio on an E has gone slightly up, so every single hit does a bit more damage. And also her ulti, early game, has, I believe it's 20 seconds less cooldown the first rank, then 10 seconds less. So Kayle at the moment, oh sorry, it's the other way around actually. Late game you have 20 seconds less cooldown on the ulti here, so Kayle coming back in favor, ban in first game as you just said, locked in here. I expect it to be Mimir top lane, and I really like the setup when you have Kayle and Twitch together. Because yeah, Twitch is immobile, but as long as he gets his damage off, he will melt people, especially in the mid-late game points. And when you have a Kayle ulti and a Black Shield to protect him, opens up for Mr. Rallis to teamfight and even go towards towers and actually take them down, which is normally the issue for Twitch, where he can't really hit a tower because then it's too easy for the other team to engage onto him. Well, Black Shield and Kayle ulti, he's gonna say nope.
What are ROCCAT then gonna finish off with here? Jungler and support picks. Thresh, a champion which, honestly, Vander, if we look back to the spring split especially, he was so impressive with on that Thresh. He's kind of fallen down a little bit for him this year, both in terms of picks, but maybe more importantly in terms of KDA and kill participation. Much lower than his other top 5 played champions overall.
Actually not been his best champion though for a while. It was the champion we kind of got used to seeing him play.
Yeah.
Where he would always land some good hooks, set up kills for ROCCAT. But let's see what he can do with it. Again, full teamfight focus. You have Thresh now to protect Celevar in these teamfights. Even Maokai can actually take a position to peel. Same goes for Ryze, of course. And you have Java then to start the fight with Xaxus. So a lot of engage potential, some good peel as well for Celevar, and just late game, you have an absolutely insane teamfight. Getting to late game, however, is going to be harder for ROCCAT this game compared to the last one. Ryze needs more time to scale up, and Maokai in the top lane as well. He needs these tanky items, these Rod of Ages, 1 or 2 tanky items, and then he becomes unkillable.
Final pick, though, for the Super Hot Crew here will be Zed. And that is another champion, I'd say. If you look at the Kassadin from last time around, even the Ahri that Selfie did so well with, a champion that you can really go huge on in some of these games, but also a champion which you can quite quickly fall flat with.
Yeah. Everything on the lineup of Super Hot Crew is just focused on not necessarily team fighting, but just picking off people before objectives. Like, you have Twitch, great at picking off people. Zed, of course, wants to split with Rengar joining with Selfie. It is going to be so scary for whatever person ROCCAT sends to stop Selfie in this one-on-one, because they can potentially pop out 2 champions from stealth and just instantly kill you. So Super Hot Crew here, definitely not looking for team fights. They do have the kill ulti on Twitch for a potential team fight, but otherwise they're just looking to split push, pick off people, then get objectives.
And we heard in that last video, the Super Hot Crew say, right now our teamwork, our synergy is not at the ideal level. Do you think it's easier to pull off a pick comp than it is to have something that's very heavily team fight based?
So yes and no. So team fight based comps, even if you don't have a lot of synergy, can work really well because the champions are so strong in team fights, and you just have like one job in your mind. Okay, I'm the support, I protect my AD carry. That's my job pretty much. But on the other side, when you have like this pick comp here, it becomes a bit solo queue-ish in the case that you're going to have a lot of one-on-one, a lot of 2v2, which is what players are very good at, especially Super Crew, because they have so many mechanically skilled players.
Yeah.
So in that case, it can work. But you need a lot of communication, because if you go at the wrong time to kill a person, it might end up costing you Baron or a tower or whatever.
Well, let's find out, shall we, how this one goes. We're going to get into game number 2. ROCCAT here with a 1-0 lead now, moving over onto the blue side. A win here would put them onto game point. And just one win then away from the semi-finals against Fnatic, who will be watching this game without a doubt, because they're going to have to prepare for this one moving into next week at Gamescom. Well, level 1, we saw in the last game a simple exchange of buffs. We'll see if anything like that happens this time around.
And more importantly, we saw a lane swap, which meant ROCCAT were in a very, very good position. Now, this time around, Xaxus up in his top lane might be in trouble against Mimir in a one-on-one. Sure, there's a lot of sustain on a Maokai, but he should never be able to kill Mimir, and he will, or the lane will be pushed down to his tower, opening up for Mimir now to get some damage on the tower and potentially come and dive with Impaler onto this Maokai here before he gets some tanky items. Remember, we normally see Rod of Ages as the first item on a Maokai, so no instant combat stats or defensive stats in that case. He does, of course, have 20% damage reduction on his ult, so pretty tanky already from level 6.
Not quite the 70% of the cow that he brought into game number 1, but could well be enough here. We'll see how this one goes. ROCCAT, of course, traditionally ramp up pretty slowly. Have possibly some troubles clearing out games, but that last one, I have to say, was pretty efficiently done. Although they had that 10k gold lead, they had a good Baron buff on where they were pushing, and they pretty much played it perfectly.
So Super Crew actually looking to lane swap, but ROCCAT sending their dual lane as well to this top side instantly, so they expect the lane swap from Super Crew here, and Kasing might face check 4 people.
Oh, they've seen that ward go down. There is Kasing walking in. Oh, they've missed him though. Yanko's gonna go around, gets the flag in at least, forcing the flash from one and from the other. It was Misserol's that flashed first, Kasing flashed in afterwards. ROCCAT are gonna successfully invade here onto that red buff. However, we do see Impaler's already on his blue. In fact, has already done his blue buff, and he's going to be moving.
And Marco needs to go to this bottom lane very, very fast. Oh, look here, Super Crew. They wanted to lane swap with Twitch and Morgana because they knew they were going to have a hard time against the dual lane from ROCCAT. So they send him top lane. As soon as they spot Celevar and Vander in this top side, they recall, even Mimir from this bot lane, recall, or move away from the lane, because they want to have this lane swap. They want to make sure Mr. Alice on Twitch can pick up the farm he needs early on. So a forced lane swap here by Super Hot Crew. Well done by ROCCAT first at actually predicting it. counter it by sending their dual lane up to the top side. And now we have, at least for now, SUPA crew with both Mima and Impaler in the jungle, and Zazus just picked up a little bit of farm. Will mean their lane is going to push towards SUPA crew, and Mr. Alice can now freeze it if he wants to.
I think the SUPA crew can count themselves lucky there from level 1. Okay, lucky you might not call it when you lose 2 flashes directly, but it could have been a lot worse if they'd have, well, basically spotted them earlier than they did. It was a bit of chaos in there. A Selfie, you're going to take a big blast already. In fact, Ignite is down. Here comes Impaler from the side, though, for the counter. Mima's there as well. And Overpower, you're not getting away from this one. First Blood is giving up, and it's Mima that takes it. They're moving straight to Dragon.
So Mima and Impaler went to the red buff of ROCCAT to take it, took the Wraith camp, and they actually looked at the Dragon, but realized Mr. Alice was freezing the bot lane, so it wasn't a good time to start it. And instead, with the fight in mid lane, easier than to come in, pick up the first blood. Now they get Dragon as well, unless ROCCAT can come down in time here. Vander and Yanko's on the way.
On the way in there, but the Dragon already low. It's going to be smited away. There's the hook though onto Kasing. There's no follow-up from ROCCAT though, with only Jankos there on the top side. Overpower already dead. And that will be the dream start really here for the SUPA crew. Yes, they got those flashes burnt, but they turned that into a first blood for the Kayle with the assist going on the jungler and the mid laner, and then they get the Dragon. Almost instant 1200 gold lead.
Only issue is the fact that Mr. Alice lost a lot of farm in the bottom lane because he had to move to the Dragon, take it down, while he had so many minions pushing toward his tower. So he actually lost quite a few waves here. Just compare the CS with Celavar early on. So only downside from SUPA crew, the fact they lost a lot of farm on the AD carry, which is the reason they actually lane swap, to make sure he gets the farm.
Well, we actually see support headed towards top lane with Mima. In fact, Impaler is even moving on that side, so this could be a case of not only helping out Mima to get some farm, but try and stop Celavar from making this lead too ridiculous. Currently 33 to 15 in favor of Celavar on Kog'Maw, and there is Mima just returning into his lane. He is obviously a tad bit behind that of Maokai, but certainly, well, it's 1 CS, not exactly anything to write home about. Impaler and Kasing now have moved around. They've not actually been spotted, and now Vander might be in trouble. He does have a flash available. Will get slowed from the bowler. There's the dive in,
flashes.
And the second one missing. Actually binding, landing onto Celavar, but he was already way underneath his turret. So nice little try by the SUPA crew. At least they forced a flash out of the support.
Yeah, now they're just pushing down the wave, break the freeze, so Celavar can just sit and deny a lot of farm from Mima. And last game, SUPA crew left Mima alone in a 1v2 just to do whatever he could. And he fell very far behind in farm compared to Zazus on Alistar. Now they've sent up both Kasing and Impaler to help him push down the wave, stop the freeze from Celavar, reset the whole wave. Not a lot of farm picked up for Mima yet, but at least opens up for him to get more now, especially because Kasing actually stays in the lane to help him. But again, last game, he stayed with Mr. Alice for no reason to 2v0 in the bottom lane.
Mr. Oz, though, is actually now moving up towards this top lane. Is that a case of we feel stronger in this 2 versus 2? We can maybe bully them out of things. We'll find out because Mima is still waiting. Impaler is there, however, spotted by a ward, but they still need to be really careful about this one. Jarvan is going to work his way towards the top lane, but there's 3, 4 of them there, and there we go. Impaler going to jump out. Jankos from the side, maybe in trouble here because that flash is down from Vander from the previous gank, and he's just going to have to go down. It's Mr. Oz that gets the kill in the end.
And this is a play I've seen in OGN a few times. The Samsung teams that like to do it. Samsung Blue, when they actually do play Twitch. Not sure if Samsung Blue, Samsung White, but one of their Samsung teams, when they do play Twitch, early on, level 4, level 5, like to just push out the lane, recall, and go to the top side or the bottom side of the map if they are on the top side, and just do this surprise AD carry, joins in for 4 versus 3 or 4 versus 2 gank, get a kill, get some farm, and just push it down now. So you also saw SUPA crew actually just make sure Mr. Alice picked up the kill. Everyone stopped hitting Vander, just waiting for him to last hit him, and it paid off the roam.
Still sits 20 CS behind that kill, obviously, though, is going to bring him, in terms of gold, actually about 100 ahead. So despite his little deficit on the farm, we can see there's a 1700 gold for Celavar to be spending when he goes home. There's 1200 on Overpower as well after his first death, but he's already got that tier, so he's quite happy to sit there and keep that one stacking up, knowing that when he goes back, probably that catalyst to come in next. Meanwhile, the 1v1 also emerging now in the bottom lane. It's still Xaxus that's got the lead on that one. However, Stinger has come out from Mimir after getting that kill earlier on with the assist now as well.
Yangas will get his red buff. This time around, no ward from SUPA to actually get a timer. Never mind. There was a ward on him.
Right on top of him.
Didn't actually see it. Right on top of him. There's a ward. So they got the timer. Impaler, however, has gone back to his own jungle to farm. He's also behind in farm. So both Impaler and Mr. Rales at the moment. Even Mimir actually. Only lane keeping up is mid lane for SUPA crew. So while they had the lane swap, got the dragon, got a kill as well for Mr. Rales. In that case, it paid off for SUPA crew, but falling very far behind in farm.
We do see Catalyst walls picked up. Overpower decided it was time to push that lane out and go home for the farm. I think he lost about maybe 1.5 waves to the turret. Selfie pushing that one right back out, and he's going to go himself back home to base, obviously working up towards that Blade of the Ruined King as his first item, as we will be seeing from Mr. Rales as well by the looks of it.
Again, SUPA crew is all about just picking off people. He has a Blade, of course, on Twitch. No real surprise. And Impaler here. Last time we actually saw him play Rengar, or the few times we have seen him play Rengar in the LCS, he loves to build a lot of damage. And again, doesn't really focus on team fights. Just waiting for ROCCAT or whatever team he's playing against to be out of position, then he jumps as this like full damage Rengar and just try and instantly kill you. You get the early cooldown reduction, which we normally see on Rengar as well, simply because more ganks, your team is happy, you get a few kills and you start rolling. Cooldown reduction is so important for Rengar.
That Madness Razor, we also can't forget already stacking up here a Selfie. Not really in too much danger there. Overpower ruining prison him up pretty early on. Meant that actually that had worn off by the time Jankos tried to get in. But look at this, Impaler at level 6 will dive straight onto Selva. Binding lines as well. There's the safety of the Lantern back towards his tower. He survives for now. Might be though forced back as overpowered. Jankos once again going to try and have a go at Selfie. There's a room prison. Cataclysm comes in. Deathmark turned around though. He's going to try and finishing him off. And Selfie does get the kill. Will go down in the end. 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, 1v2 here. Kill pick up. Sats going on for Mimir in his bottom lane. A lot of damage.
A lot of damage coming out with just that Catalyst and the single Doran's ring. Mimir, of course, level 7, so intervention is there for him if he really gets in trouble. What I'm most interested about now is Dragon. SUPA crew, of course, got the first blood in the mid lane and then went straight to that Dragon opportunistically after that kill. Are they going to be trusting themselves here now to go for it again?
Well, notice how both teams take the dual lane from the top side, recall, and run straight towards this bottom side here, because if you had kept your AD carry in the top lane, it would have been an easy dragon for the other team because of teleport advantage, and AD carry is pretty much stuck. So both teams sending the dual lane down towards this dragon. Let's see, Mimir recalling, does have teleport. Sasa staying. Just want to clear out some wards. ROCCAT, the first ones to actually get some control around the river.
Yeah, pink wards taken away there. Saplings drop down as well. So ROCCAT, for now at least, have positional advantage. Selfie just going to be scanning out those wards though over the backside. And we'll see what ROCCAT want to do here. Was it just a case of defending the Dragon take from the SUPA crew, or are they going to trust themselves to go all the way and actually start that Dragon off? It actually looks like they will do. A scan will reveal that there's no wards down there, no vision currently for the SUPA crew, and it looks like they're giving this one up.
Remember, ROCCAT wants to team fight, whereas SUPA crew rather pick off people. And when all 5 members from ROCCAT are already at the Dragon, they start clearing the wards. There's no proper way for SUPA crew to actually engage or catch someone from ROCCAT out of position. Be wisely enough to say, you know what, you get the Dragon, we go back to our lanes, and now we need Impaler to keep looking for ganks. He needs to keep picking up kills, because Mr. Rales is still very, very far behind, and he's also one of the people who's supposed to run around and one-on-one people.
That's very, very true. 68 to 104 CS there between the AD carries. See 3,800 gold, obviously that first Dragon, and neat 3 kills helping out there somewhat for the SUPA crew, but worrying facts means that Seliva's going to be getting pretty strong here shortly. Got himself Phage, and he's sat on almost 1,000 gold towards the Sheen or that Zeal, whichever it depends he decides to go for next. Meanwhile, Kasink is maybe going to join in the mid lane. Impaler has already stealthed into this one, but look at Overpower. Backing away already. He's not got a flash available. This is how we kind of expect Overpower to play things anyway in this mid lane, especially when he doesn't have a flash, is sit back, play very, very safely.
Yeah, and we saw the damage Selfie could do to him earlier when we had the gank from Jankos, where he actually turned it around and traded 1-for-1, even though it was 2 members from ROCCAT jumping him. So Overpower wisely enough, also against the Rengar. Played very safe. He's going to pick up the farm. Is slightly behind and also gave up the 1 kill. So not a good start for him on Ryze. And his Rod of Ages, because he just picked up a Glacial Shroud here, is going to be very delayed. Even picked up more HP. So going to be delayed Rod of Ages here from Overpower.
See how that fares for him, really. I mean, he's up against Selfie, who's now got Brutalizer in after picking up that Cutlass as his first item. Also got himself a blue buff now, so can very well bully Overpower in this mid lane. Yep. Bit of health never gonna hurt. And
exactly why he actually delays the Rod of Ages. He wants like instant combat stats against Selfie. He wants the armor, wants more HP. So smart enough choice, even though his power spike will be delayed. Simply to say, if I go Rod of Ages now, it's too easy for Selfie to actually jump me and kill me. I'm in his top lane here. Mimer fell behind after the lane swap, except for the fact he picked up a dragon, but farm-wise he fell behind. He's also a level behind because Zazas has just been sitting in lane, farming throughout the entire lane swap, and is looking very good on Maokai.
I thought he was going to try and get down to bottom, but the duo of ROCCAT had already actually backed away and pushed that wave right up. They're going to take golems here. See if they actually decide just to recall straight off. I was talking about Celever earlier and how much gold he was sat on. Now sat on 1,700 gold, so obviously delaying as long as he feels he can really do that until he goes home and picks up as much as he can towards that Trinity Force, or maybe even buy it outright if he waits just that little bit longer. In fact, they're pressuring that bottom tower, and that's an interesting move there. Coming out of the lane, taking golems, and then going back in gives them the tower.
And notice what Subaku is doing. The same move as before. The tower was so low, it was going to be pushed in. We talked about how it's not a good lane for Mr. Alice and Kasink to stay in. It's very hard to farm against Silver and Vander. So they instead, once again, send Mr. Alice to this top lane to surprise and turn suddenly into a 4v2 if Jankos is caught out of position here.
Oh, there goes the slide through from Jankos. They're going to go straight towards Mimer. He uses an early intervention. They turn it around. Jankos is going to go down. Zazas will fall as well. And again, that same move that we saw for the first kills in that top lane will happen all over again. Zazas and Jankos go down. It leaves Mimer on 2-0-2. We've seen time and time again how scary it is. Here's the start of that one again. Notice Mr. All stealthed up. Surprise.
That's the thing, man. If you don't expect it, you're like, okay, we're setting up for this gank. We want to force a flash ulti from Mimer. All of a sudden, even the support is here. 4 members, tower, kill for Mr. Alice, kill for Mimer. It is perfect for them. Yes, they lost the bottom tower. It was gone anyway because Selva and Vander kept pushing it down, could just always get to the tower and hit it a few times. So you make the best out of a bad situation by sending Mr. Alice top lane twice now, picking up kills, get a tower here. Very nice move by SUPA crew. And we keep talking about how ROCCAT as a team don't like unexpected things. They want to, you know, play by the book, low risk, high reward, take their time. When it Twitch twice, stealth to the top lane, completely random. That is definitely not what ROCCAT expected, and it's been working for SUPA Crew.
When you notice that lane is completely empty, when it's happened once, you may think, okay, could possibly happen, but would they try that twice in a row? They now know the answer to that, and I think once that top lane's empty, that we won't be seeing Jankos waiting right in the end of the brush there for that surprise once again. If you look at the CS between those top laners, Mimer has brought himself into a little lead. Mid lane now has a lead as well with Selfie. Bottom lane, though, still sits behind, although that 2-0-1, amongst other things, have made sure that Mr. Rawls is only a 200-300 gold actually behind in the end. Dragon's coming up though in 30 seconds, so this is the important one. First one called opportunistic pickup for the SUPA crew. ROCCAT though had full control of the second one, just because of the fact they had all 5 men there. SUPA crew don't want to do that big team fight.
Well, now at least they got a goal lead, so they might be more confident. They're going for Selfie.
Going for Selfie. He actually goes back onto his Shadow. Deathmark coming in there on towards Overpower. He flashes away. The Deathmark, not enough damage to actually kill him off with that Catalyst, maybe more importantly with that Glacial Shroud in there as well. And ROCCAT having that ultimate down, it's going to make Celiva feel a lot more comfortable. They go down towards the Dragon. Pinkwall's already there, should be able to take one.
Easy again. So very good gang by Jankos here. Forced the ulti and the flash from Selfie. Picks up the Dragon once again. SUPA don't want to deal with any kind of team fight at this point, especially not without the ulti from Selfie. And just going back to the same deal. They pick up the kills in between the Dragons.
Speaking of in between things, in between the towers, maybe the problem for Overpower is going to flash behind it. Impaler is going to be tanking that one up. A lot of damage coming back. Overpower goes down. Impaler survives for now, but there's the flash in. Xaxus going to get one back. Can they close in? No, they can't. There's no one there for ROCCAT. Xaxus actually getting hit by the binding there as well. And again, we see the kill coming. Good little reaction by ROCCAT to at least be a 1 versus 1 and keep the tower alive.
Yeah, keep the tower alive. A lot of farm lost from Overpower, but we just see the same tactic for SUPA. Okay, you get Dragon. We're not done yet. We're just gonna keep looking for picks here. Even under your own tower, we will dive you at this point to constantly get picks here. Then we will lose this mid tower. Only Mr. Raleigh there to try and wave clear, and Twitch is not exactly the guy who just destroys the wave.
Jankos could put that flag down and the extra attack speed on them all. Easily finished off. Trinity Force for Celiva was picked up on his last trip home, so able to get that one in there. Blade of the Ruin King, brutalize the Hex Drinker for Zed though. Self is getting to that point where you just don't want to meet him in a 1 versus 1 or maybe even a 2 versus 1 scenario as we saw earlier.
And it's simply what SUPA Crew is going to keep doing for the entire game. Selfie split pushing. You can have Mima in the other lane and just push on all the lanes. Mr. Raleigh is so good, or Twitch is so good at staying in the mid lane, kill the wave, and then once there's no wards to spot him, he can then sneak to the top lane, to the bottom lane, and instantly make it 2v1, maybe even 2v2 in favor of SUPA Crew because they have so much burst now coming in. And Impaler can do the same. As long as SUPA Crew have good wards to actually see or make sure that ROCCAT is not standing like 4 members and waiting for them. And as long as they can control the waves, especially in the mid lane, so they don't suddenly roam to top lane like 4 members and ROCCAT just says, okay, we're just going to push mid lane, take towers, then they should be able to keep moving around the lanes, pick up the kills they want. But it does require them to control the lanes properly, and if they do, the trick about split pushing, and a lot of experience on playing with Bjergsen in the past, who used to play Zed a lot, and we always did this 1-4 split push, is if he split pushes at the wrong time, while we are not in a position, the rest of the team, to push down the mid lane and apply pressure, then it's too easy for the other team to send 2-3 members to you, kill you, and not lose anything because the 4 members sitting in mid lane or 3 members in mid lane are not in a position to take a tower or dragon, and therefore you lose a lot of pressure, you give a kill, and that's the way a split pushing comp can always lose. Now, Bender, you might be in trouble, mate.
Yeah, I think so as well. Mr. Rawls and Impaler coming in. Binding doesn't quite land. That's a good jump around, but Impaler is able to pick up a kill. Celiva, though, doing good damage. And the Super Hot Crew being ripped to pieces there by Kog'Maw. Mr. Rawls did manage to escape it. Had to use Flash, had to use Summon a Heal, and it's Baron o'clock for ROCCAT.
So we just talked about SUPA Crew needing a lot of wards to make sure there's not like 4 or 5 members from ROCCAT just waiting for this gank to happen. And this time around, Celiva and Jankos were just standing there waiting. Instant teleport from Xaxus, and they turned around. 2 kills, go straight for Baron. Way too aggressive by SUPA Crew. Had no idea how many members from ROCCAT were waiting. And you lost Baron.
No intervention used there by Mima. I didn't actually see how much mana he had. I'm assuming,
cost no mana,
he
though.
Probably didn't have, well, he cost no mana, of course. What am I even thinking? Why not even get it down there? You're stuck inside Cataclysm. You see 2 men having to flash away. Certainly not the ideal scenario, especially since so close to Baron, it makes it so easy for ROCCAT to turn, especially with the likes of a Kog'Maw in the team to just rip straight through that Baron. Nice pickup for ROCCAT here. Selfie has gone into split push mode, but they need to be careful on that top side of the map. There's 3 of them there against the 2 from SUPA Crew, including Mr. Ralls, who's at less than half HP. There's a flag down once again. We'll stop Jarvan actually jumping in there. Gives him an escape point, though. More than half of the HP taken away from that turret.
And Impaler went down to this bottom lane instead of going up top to try to defend at the second tower because he wanted to make it 2v1 with Selfie here. But Xaxus, he just walked up, looked at the lane, said, you know what, it's probably a bit too scary, and walked back to his own tower, and nothing happened in his bottom lane. And now ROCCAT might look to... never mind. He just smacked the goal. And still, ROCCAT stayed. Wanted to try and see if they can get a pick on Mimer. Didn't work. Still, won a team fight, got the Baron, got another tower.
So let's have a look then. After that Baron, after that top tower there, we see the gold swinging right over in ROCCAT's favor. 1,400 there or thereabouts, 23 minutes into the match. And we see that brings quite a bit of tankiness in the direction of ROCCAT. We're going to be seeing the Randuin's Omen is the name of it. It's all right. Randuin's Omen's only been in the game for a few years now, so I'm not sure why I constantly forget that one. But Randuin's Omen coming in either way for Jankos. So you got Warden's Mail, Glacial Shroud up there for Zazas, Frozen Heart done for Rise. So a lot of tankiness. Selfie's going to have a bit of trouble breaking through all of that.
It's really another reason why Subaru don't want a straight-up team fight, because both Mimer and Mr. Alice need to get as many auto attacks off as possible.
Yeah.
And there's going to be double Frozen Heart on the side of ROCCAT. Of course, they don't stack together, but just the fact there will always be one guy with a Frozen Heart in your face, reducing your attack speed. Random's Omen as well. So it makes it very hard for Mimer and Mr. Alice to get all the damage they need off in a 5 versus 5. And ROCCAT once again around this dragon. Mimer's in the top lane, does have teleport, but they can't team fight. So they have to give up another objective and fall back to split pushing and just try and react now to what ROCCAT wants to do on the map. And still, the warding from Subaru in this game has not been good enough for picking off people, and it cost them the Baron. It's a terrible move. I have no idea how many members from ROCCAT were waiting and punished.
It might cost them a little bit more than a turret. Look at that damage onto Self. He has to dive away. There's the vote, which you guys, by the way, can still vote for. Just use those hashtags ROC win, SHC win. Tweet your answers to @LOL Esports, and we'll see how that one develops over the course of this best of 5. I think when we checked in last in game 1, it was a super hot crew up front, but now look at this. Team coming in onto the tower. But is the tower going to go down? No. Mimer manages to get in, but they're right in the middle of them. Hammering away. Double kill. Selva's coming up big. It's now a triple. Can he get himself anymore? It surely can.
No,
Selfie is going to go down. It is in the end going to be overpowered to steal that last one.
They can finish the game.
4 men down. They can finish the game right here. I don't see any reason why not. They've got the tankiness. Overpower could even step up front there. They've got minions coming in as well. Only Mimer now to save the day. There's 8 seconds on Impaler, 10 on Mr. Oz and Kasing. It's not going to be enough. ROCCAT are going to walk through, destroy the base, and move on to game point here. And 2-0 in this best of 5 over the Super Hot crew. And just one fight turning it, giving the Baron over to ROCCAT. And they didn't mess about. This was a deadly looking ROCCAT. No messing after they get into the advantage position.
Make one mistake in a pick comp against such a strong team fighting composition from ROCCAT here, where they can take down your towers, they can engage onto you whenever they want to, and there's nothing you can do. We just saw it. ROCCAT just walked straight up the base, kill the tower, onto Subaru, destroyed him. So far ahead as well. They're so tanky with the Rise in the mid lane with the Frozen Heart. One guy went down, sure. Still, we win the game. 25 minutes. That's a very, very short game, especially if you look at ROCCAT, who normally plays like 40, 44 minutes long games when they actually win them, like on average. It's a very fast game, but it's simply because pick comp from Super Hot Crew, you have no wards to spot out what's going on, you end up dying, you give up Baron, and it was so easy then with the comp, ROCCAT had to just go up and finish the game.
Just dive in and make them fight you or lose the game.
What is Zed going to do in a team fight there at that point? I mean, he's going to jump in, try and do some damage, and then just shadow out.
Selva once again, I mean, it's easy to say he did it extremely well, obviously picking up a lot of kills there right at the very end and not really having any problems. You'd think with the likes of the Zed in there, he's going to get dove on, but if you manage to catch him out there first, you can't even get in there and stop this Cogmore, who's already got, Blade of the Ruin King and the Trinity Force in there. He's just going to destroy you. It's
just good start by Subaru to actually get the dragon, early kills, the moves from Mr. Rales, where he went from the bottom lane to the top lane twice, picked up kills, got towers. Was good. They got some nice gold, but all the lanes were behind in farm, except for Selfie in the mid lane. So we already have Maokai going towards his tanky points. We had Celavar just farming away from the start here, looking very, very good, pretty much the entire game long. And also the guy who picked up most of the kills in the team fights. So while they got a lot of kills, Super Crew, it was still very close in gold. And as soon as the second dragon spawned and ROCCAT moved in 5 members and So SUPA was like, okay, take the dragon. We're not going to try and team fight you here. Goal started turning in favor of ROCCAT, and it was all about the one gank, I would even call it, in the top lane. ROCCAT just destroyed them.
So after game number 1, or the start of game number 2, and we saw that video and we were wondering how down are the SUPA going to be after game 1, didn't seem like they were really down at all.
No.
They going in there, played a great early game. However, losing like that in game number 2, knowing that you now have to win 3 games in a row, that surely, for me, I feel like this could be a blowout third game if the SUPA crew don't have a real serious talk and completely clear their minds.
At least they should know now which play style or which comps ROCCAT likes to play. Because twice the same one, full team fight, focus on protecting Celavar, and it works here. So now they have to try and build something around it.
Well, we're going to find out. But first of all, we're going to get some insight from